Sorry guys, it's gonna be a little shaky because
that was a bull calf.
It's a beautiful bull calf. That's what it was.
I'm trying to disarticulate his leg. Stab you. Try to stay outside of his belly.
I was about to say that. Is that wrong?
I mean, steak is just muscle.
Yeah, look how good. I'm just, look at it.
It looks
Good.
Yeah, it does actually look good.
some good veal.
Alright, so now we'll do the same thing.
You got his little hip socket.
Oh my god, that's warrior. Stella doesn't do all that.
He's doing his
nasty.
warrior chant.
So sweet.
So all we're doing is just pulling his legs away from his body because we want him out of the way so y'all can see.
Now, is it just this cold because he's been sitting outside, or?
Yeah, this one's been in the refrigerator.
Oh, okay. I was like, nah, that's been.
How long? Yeah, how long ago was this?
Last semester,
So
Yeah.
it's
right before Thanksgiving.
No, we're going to serve this for a class lunch next week.
really?
Okay, now see if he'll lay flat that way.
You can back this up a little bit. That gives everybody a chance to spread out a little more.
Okay, yeah, if y'all want to see.
Can everybody see? Okay, so
Oh, the wind changer.
There's like another
all right, let's just roll this back just a little bit. Roll it back.
All right, I'm just gonna.
Make your circle a little bit bigger so everyone can see what's going on. All right.
Wait, you moved away from my camera.
Okay, so if we.
Right now, it looks like some of you can't see. I see some of the folks back there can't see. There you go.
So from your introduction to animal science, this is the pole, that's the withers back there on the shoulder. We just cut underneath the hooks and the pins on the back, and what we're going to do is we've got to understand the relationship of where the stomach is. So if you take your left hand and hand it close to your belly, that's the position of your stomach. Now, put yourself on 4 feet. Okay? So, which side would we expect the pain? The animal, the right or the left? Okay, I was looking this way. That's the right. This is the left. So the room is always on the left side. And it's located in an area called the paralumbar fossa, which is where the 3 muscles meet here. And so I'm going to look in on the left side to try to find this
Splash zone.
calf. Yeah, stand back.
I mean, this camera is good though. Like, look at that.
HD quality. That's some nice shit. Is that your phone? Okay, bet.
Gotta.
Would you be able to send that?
I'm gonna see if I can post it on Blackboard. If not, I'll probably like send it in an email to whoever requests it. Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can like post it into the Blackboard discussion board so everyone can see it. If not, I'm gonna like email it to everybody.
Warm dead bodies are so.
Easier.
This really doesn't smell that bad.
Okay, so now
It's
I've
been
got
dead a while.
the rib cage exposed, and then the abdomen is here. We're on the left side, so when I go straight in, I should be able to see the lumen. The lungs and the heart will be located inside the rib cage, and the stomach will be on the opposite side. So now we're going to try to get rid of some more muscles.
It's so much different than like the
Textbook.
no the ones that came prepared. It's just so much. It's different from the other ones.
Yeah, because it's fresh.
What muscles you cutting through?
So there's a lining on the inside of the abdomen that keeps it clean. See that thin piece of tissue? That's the peritoneum, and the peritoneum
It's waterproof.
serves to help protect the organs of the abdomen as well as lubricate them so they don't stick together. That's why when your stomach rumbles, it doesn't bother you and hurt you. Have that happen.
Press the button
Okay.
on the side.
What's that, Dr. Price?
See if we can get this out of the way.
There's some intestines.
That's intestines?
Look at our older viscera.
Viscera.
Viscera?
Okay, so now we're looking at small intestines.
I'm sorry, we don't just
See these little squiggly organs here? It's a tube. The tube is suspended by a mesentery, and so it keeps your guts from getting tangled up. So when they're contracting, the mesentery keeps everything all nice and straight. We've also got, this is the urachus that goes to the belly button, and there's a couple of different structures that will go to the belly button. And we got looks like a bladder right here. The bladder didn't have anything in it, and so we're really concerned more with, so we got a colon here. That's after everything has passed away, so we're going to try to remove some of these ribs if we can.
I was gonna say, do we have a cutter?
I'm hoping that actually I can cut through.
It's a very sharp knife.
I mean, it's young enough. There we go. Soft bones.
I was actually wondering why it was that easy. Good answer.
Got a barbecue?
You want me to hold it? You want me to hold it?
Yeah. Okay, put your finger through there and let me see if I can.
So, because this calf was able to take breaths before it died, would, if you
He
cut off a
died
piece
and
of long...
He suffocated inside of his mother. So that's the diaphragm, which is a sheet of muscle that separates the lungs from the abdomen. And if I can get it severed, I'm going to try to bring it back. Okay, let me see if I can go down here by this now. You do need a body, don't you?
For those of you, once you see what he's cutting and what he's talking about, make way for some of the folks so they can see too, please.
All right, so now everything, we're concerned today with everything from the diaphragm back. So in front of this is the lungs. You see the lungs never inflated. This baby died in the womb. That's why the lungs didn't inflate. They should be a nice pink color, but you can see they're still full of blood and there's no air in them. So if you're looking at trying to decide if something lived or not, one of the places you can do that is in the lungs. So the diaphragm is here. I got my finger, I'm running underneath the diaphragm. And now I'm starting to see, so this is the belly button. Okay? And so that kept him alive while he was inside of his mother. At the time of birth, that belly button seals itself off. You can see where it's sealed off. And so it becomes an important source of infection when you first have a calf hit.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Can I get through real quick? Can I get through? Hi, excuse me. I'm sorry. Let me just stick this through here because his arms are in the way and I can't see.
All of the nutrients from the mother's body was going in the liver, and the liver was metabolizing those nutrients from the mother and feeding the baby as he's growing inside.
You're
of
good.
her. So now we're down to this digestive organs here. And so let's see if we can decide what everything is. So we got this tongue-shaped organ that's laying over the top of it here.
No,
This
the liver is in the
this
back.
is the liver actually. This is the liver here.
Okay.
Okay. This tongue-shaped organ is the spleen. And the spleen is like an oil filter in your car. It filters the blood inside of your body, and it will make it to where if anything's misshapen or not perfect, it'll clean it out, get rid of it, capture that red blood cell, destroy it, and it'll send what it can to recycle to the liver and say, hey, can you use this again? If you can't use it, it either goes out in the gallbladder to be dumped in your gut to be pooped out, or else it'll go back in your bloodstream to your kidneys and you poop it out. So the spleen's, so now we've got this sheet of stuff here. Good, look at that. I can see through it. Okay, so that sheet is called the omentum, and inside of that omentum is where we're going to find some of these digestive organs. This is the janitor for your belly. So this thing floats around in there, and anything that's not supposed to be there, it'll trap it and hang on to it. Yes, you have one. Everything I'm showing you, you have one. That's the weakness I saw in your generation. This applies to you, and you apply to this.
And what was the name for that?
So omentum. So all you have to do is like take that information, stick it on yourself, stick it on this animal, stick it on anything else. Does that make sense now? Okay. So the omentum is what keeps your belly clean. I'm going to just slice through it, get it out of the way. And you can get below it and you can start seeing some of these other pouches. So we've still got small intestines up here. You see the little tubes. There's quite a few of those. And now we're actually trying to find what's inside of here. And you said it wasn't very developed, and it's not very developed, but it will start to be developed. So the esophagus is coming down here, and the esophagus is going to feed into, let's see if I can find this part. Okay. So we're going to have I think this is going to be the omasum, and I think this is going to be the abomasum, because it's going into the small intestine. So this is, you see the abomasum is unusually large, and the rumen hasn't developed yet. So what was nature planning for this baby to live off of when it was first born? It had nothing to do with grass, but now, over time, I want him to eat grass. And so by doing that, I'm going to try to develop these other pouches. So if you notice, the esophagus is coming in here, and here, and you see there's this tissue over here that's like a pouch that really hasn't developed much yet. That's going to turn into the rumen, and he's going to ferment grass. So the esophagus is going to go into the rumen, and the reticulum is going to be up front, and then we're going to go into the abomasum. Actually, that might be the abomasum right there. So this is the abomasum and the abomasum and the omasum. This is the reticulum. So we're going to slice inside of here and look and see what these tissues look like. They should be individually different because they perform different functions. So the first thing we'll slice into is hopefully the rumen. And on the inside of the rumen, I should be able to see that it's going to develop hair, tough little hair-like things. So if you look really carefully, you can see here's a band that helps hold it into shape. And you see it has muscular striations in it too, because it's going to contract. It contracts about 3 times a minute. So if a cow's stomach is working like it's supposed to, the rumen will be contracting at least a couple of times a minute, about 3 times a minute. So the grass is going to fall into here and it's going to begin to ferment. Once it ferments, she makes volatile fatty acids. Those volatile fatty acids can be absorbed into the bloodstream to go to the liver over here. And the liver can make certain things out of those volatile fatty acids. What's left over is the fiber spills over into the reticulum and it collects. And then they burp it up, they chew it again, they swallow it. They burp it up, they chew it again, they swallow it. And that process goes on for several times, most about 6 to 8 times. Once they've chewed the grass up into smaller pieces, it will go into a different compartment. So if we look inside of what I think is the reticulum, we should see that it has a completely different look. Got some ice in it. Okay. And inside of the reticulum, we should see that it looks like a honeycomb. Okay, so there we go. Can you see? Looks like a honeycomb. Can everybody see that?
I'm sorry. Can I like real quick?
Okay, can everybody see the reticulum looks like a honeycomb? See it?
Okay. I got it.
Fingers are good.
Got it. Someone else run up there.
See that?
I mean, it looks
So,
just a honeycomb along
come on
with
up
the
here.
tissue. You want to see it?
Just like, go. I got it.
All right. Look at the surface of it.
Oh. It's not
Now,
a
the
baby.
reason for the honeycomb is this. The fiber gets in there. Somebody mentioned, is that why the cud that they chew is really hard and round? The reticulum has little honeycomb structures on it. And so it's constantly, when it contracts, it's rolling the fibrous grass. So what is it going to turn into if you keep rolling it? A ball. A ball. So now what do they belch up?
A ball.
A little ball.
Like a hay ball.
And then they're chewing that ball of grass and they'll swallow it back down, makes another ball, sends it up, and that process keeps going on and on again. So we've identified the rumen with its papillae that just scratch and move the grass around and contract and ferment it, and the microbes grow. We've looked at the reticulum that's going to make it turn into a ball of fiber so they can belch it back up. And we got to look at the mason. Is that rain? I cannot believe it.
Yep.
So this is the omasum. Let me try to cut it along. So the nickname for the omasum is called the book of plies because it looks like the leaves of a book. Book of plies. So we're going to see if it looks. Okay, can everybody see those plies in that book? Can you see the leaves of the book? Okay. And so
Galaxy Note 9.
it's a fibrous
Best money I've ever spent.
tough muscular organ.
My selfies are pretty sleek too.
Squishes the juice in the grass. It will let the juice go on by.
Do you want to
And
scoop
the
past and
stuff
get a look?
that's too fibrous falls back.
You sure? Because I got it on camera.
Rumen and gets
So if you wanna-
chewed up again and processed again. Okay, once we actually get past that, we go into the true stomach. What's the name of the true stomach in cow?
Abomasum.
Abomasum. Okay. So what I should see in this stomach is I should see gastric pits, which are the openings into the glands that are making hydrochloric acid, and I should see a lining that's conducive to that. This particular calf. Calves actually drink amniotic fluid when they're inside their mama, and so this frozen amniotic fluid, I'm going to take it out of the way.
Okay.
It's all just
Frozen
So if you
amniotic
look at the surface of this, you will see that it has what are called gastric pits, and it also has folds in it called rugae, and those folds allow it to stretch. So when you think you've eaten too much, you've stretched all your rugae in your stomach, and if you notice, the surface of that looks like has little pimple-looking things in it, little dimples. Everybody see that? Okay. Those are the gastric pits, and that's actually where the hydrochloric acid is made. From this point on back, they walk on 4 legs. They eat grass. But do they have a digestive system like we do? Yes, they do. So any question that applies to you as far as your digestive system goes, from this point back is exactly the same as it is in the cow. So what's the difference? The reticulum, the rumen, and the omasum.
Mason, not Applebee's.
Because abomasum is our
Like
stomach.
our stomach. They are both the
I
same.
want to see a human stomach now.
It's really cool when you put it all together.
I wish we had like an
Okay.
adult
Any
crowd
questions
we could
about
see
that?
because seeing it in an adult crowd was way different.
So when Dr. Law is talking about nutrients and how they digest, you understand that the end product has to be processed in a different way than it does in us. If we eat calories, they get processed pretty quick. If a cow eats calories, it typically will spend about 3 to 4 days running around the rumen and the reticulum before it ever gets in. So does that mean you can put weight on a cow in a big hurry?
No.
No. Can't. So that's why it takes a little longer to raise animals like this. You have to work at it. Okay, other things while we're driving around the block we might as well look at. We talked about the spleen being the oil filter. We talked about the lungs. We also got kidneys.
So if you see the paper I gave you,
Yeah.
do you have all the questions covered?
Actually, we still needed to learn about bypass protein.
No, it's not here.
That's not
That's
here.
us. Then it was a
Okay.
bonus.
I'm not gonna. If I give you the answer, because it's
That's the
supposed to be a
kidney right
bonus. So
Oh,
when you
that's the
bypass
extra
the
credit.
rumen,
Oh, never mind.
how many of you have heard of bypass protein?
I'm sorry.
Heard of bypass.
You know,
yeah.
every nutrient comes to the rumen for them to process before the
So this is
abomasum. So when we say bypass, we're actually making them not to be utilized by the rumen microbes. So you're gonna go search for that
No, secret.
because I didn't.
We talk about the secret.
So
It's not going to be super
That one
developed
is
in this
understandable.
species, though.
you're not gonna learn bypass. I want you to
so
do what-
bypass proteins means that.
Don't tell them it's an assignment.
Okay, so this multiple, you notice this kidney has multiple lobules, and actually it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, a bunch of different kidneys that are put together, and now they function as one giant kidney. But each one of these little lobules, a multilobulated kidney, is common to ruminants. Eventually, the digestive tract goes through the absorption process, and that's what all of this stuff is. So your food is actually absorbed through your jejunum and your small intestine. The pancreatic enzymes are added to it inside the duodenum, and so the digestion actually starts in the duodenum. And if you look at this calf here, it doesn't have a real big pancreas, but you see this strip of tissue right here?
Yeah.
That's the pancreas
That's very
coming out. And so it's responsible for putting in enzymes, and you remember from chemistry, when you mix two things, you put an enzyme with it, it speeds the reaction up. And so that's what the enzymes are doing, speeding the reaction up, so that when it gets back here, it can be absorbed. All right, after all of that, none of us have a digestive system that's 100% perfect. So we have to have waste material, and that's what this is. This is the colon. And so the colon will handle the waste, and then we can pass it out.
Another name for the
So in the stomach, it just fills up, right? They don't release any waste.
Yes, it does.
But newborn calves will have like these orange-colored poops.
Yes, it is.
It's like this weird orange-colored waxiness.
Meconium. So the only thing the baby gets inside the mama is it's drinking amniotic fluid, and it's digesting stuff from the belly button. So it actually is producing some waste. Those wastes collect in the colon. The colon gets really big. The poop looks really funny, and it has a special name when they're first born. It's called meconium. It's kind of a amber yellowish color, and it's kind of gooey and tarry, and it looks funky. So it's common to
Does
see
it
that.
have a specific smell?
Not particularly,
Okay.
you know. It just looks funky.
Okay.
So a newborn animal, you will see they poop and it looks kind of amber. Until they finally get that out and they start digesting it on their own, will it turn brown and green and black.
What time is it?
I was gonna say, checking it now. If Sarah would be so kind. It's 12:48. Okay, cool.
Other people have food, so I just didn't bring my phone over. Because
You see the set of the teeth.
It's some stuff we put.
Oh, is that teeth?
Yeah.
It's not well developed.
The teeth.
You can see it.
I was gonna say, can I come shove my camera in his mouth?
Okay.
Hang on, we're traveling now. For those of you watching the video, come see the teeth. Hi, may I see the teeth?
So see the teeth. If we're to be canine, you see the incisors. But this is more for grazing, for chewing. So within this region, we have the salivary gland. And we have what type of enzymes in the mouth. So they go down. Pretty much what Dr. Povis has told you guys. It's because it's a small animal. We have seen the
Get out of the way.
For this type of animal, what will you advise in feeding? Do you give more of roughages or less of roughages?
For a baby or for the species in
For
general?
baby.
Less.
Why?
Because you want to slowly develop the rumen.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're gonna fuck it all up.
Actually, that's the moon. Yeah, that's the moon. So those got ability.
Would have been a beautiful calf.
I know, it's so sad. You get a hoof.
Okay, his nails, why are his claws mushy?
They're not fully developed.
The answer is so it won't tear the mother.
Yeah.
So nature built them with a protective coating, and that coating actually protects the hoofs because he's going to be kicking around inside of his mama, so he doesn't poke his foot.
Feel like jelly.
Don't horses have that too?
Yes, they do.
So any hooved animal really.
Because I think
Even
I've,
in human, when they are born, you see the nails.
Excuse me, Colby.
It's not so strong. Have you seen baby before? No.
I've
So
seen,
it's the
I've
same
seen,
thing.
I've seen like animals.
When you press it, it's gonna just be bouncing.
Okay.
Who's gonna be pretty?
Because don't they have like really sharp nails?
Yeah, they do. Sharp as a motherfucker. No. Babies can tear you up.
Where's the sort of
So this is gonna be different when we have large animals, grown up.
Yeah.
But I think you guys know what.
So are we gonna
Is this the end of the lab?
Yes. Check your note if you